Hey guys, and welcome to another video which is a little bit different from the others. I'm not only working on old computers, but also sometimes on cars, among others mine. It's a Lexus model IS220 diesel from the XC20 series. Recently I had to pass the safety inspection and emissions test, or as we say in German, after the biggest company offering this, I had to pass the TÜV. A little bit of a problem was that I didn't pass the emissions test, because I had to repair my central locking system first. Sounds strange, but it's like this. The reason for the problem was this control unit directly from hell. In this video I will show you how to replace this control unit and how this will fix problems with the alarm, with the central locking and with the OBD system. In addition, I will also show you some information on the knee airbag on the driver's side, which makes some problems sometimes with earlier cars of this series. I hope this is helpful to you and have fun. Here you see the ECU in question. It's a comfort and body ECU, which is located within the dashboard on the right side of the passenger footwell. Which errors are caused by this ECU? Firstly, it could cause that the central locking only opens the driver's door, but all others not. Take sure that this is not programmed like this, because you can also activate this mode by pressing unlock and lock at the same time for some seconds. If the symptom is caused by the ECU, then if you grab into the door handle and the doors try to unlock, that the car tries multiple times. The reason could either be a corroded connector or a broken relay within the ECU, which cannot be replaced separately. Second problem are false alarms on the anti-theft system. Cause here, the contacts for the handbrake switch and for the switch for the rear door driver's side are located directly beneath each other. If humidity crawls into this connector, it could short the contacts. Look for the source of the humidity. If the contacts short against each other, the car will think that the door is open while the car is locked. And third problem, due to corrosion in the connector, it could be that either the OBD data or the OBD 12 volt do not pass on to the connector properly. If your OBD tester relies on the 12 volt for power supply, then it will not work anymore. This typically applies to professional testers which have a remote dongle. The ECU is not coded to the car and can be swapped simply. On this photo you see the part number of the ECU. In case of such errors, I would recommend to clean the connectors and replace the ECU with a new or used one. Let's start with the most obvious thing. As you might have heard, the central locking tried to open all 4 doors without success. It only worked for the driver's door. Locking works for all doors. To get access to the defect Body-ECU, we have to remove the driver's side knee airbag. Usual disclaimer: do not work on airbags if you don't know what you're doing. Local laws might apply, which even forbid you to work on this without a certification. If you work on airbags, disconnect the ground terminal from the battery and wait minimum 10 minutes to let all ECUs discharge. Let's start dismantling the passenger side dashboard. You can easily pull off the side cover, it's simply clipped. As a last step, remove the cable from the passenger airbag security switch to fully remove the cover. The footwell cover is also just clipped. Pull it off, but don't pull too hard, there's still a cable connected to it from the footwell ambient light. There you can already see the ECU, but we still have to remove airbag and glove box. Better safe than sorry, I will use a grounding wrist strap to connect myself to the car body. Played in fast forward, you have to loosen these 3 screws. First, slightly loosen them and then remove them completely. After a little bit of wiggling, your airbag is removed. Loosen the yellow tab and disconnect the cable. Always consider an airbag has to be stored with the side it explodes upwards. Yes, I know, in case something happens, the windshield is not the best place to store it. Little bonus tip, the same connector is used for the knee airbag on the driver's side too. In cars from the years 2006 to 2008, it tends to corrode and will lead to the error B1861. The technical information comes from Lexus USA, but also European cars can be affected. Lexus USA has a repair kit for this. German Lexus dealers don't know it at all. If you, like me, have the idea to go to a Lexus dealer in the USA during holidays over there, forget it. The part is connected to a service and will only be built in by the Lexus dealer himself. But using this part number, you might also find some online dealers who will ship this. If you manage to acquire the connector, the old cable is cut off and the new one is soldered onto it. If not, for me it helped to spray some deoxit into the connector. Holding a camera and a screwdriver at once is definitely not the easiest task. Here I'm removing the bottom screws from the glove box. This is done while the glove box is closed. And the top screws are accessible while the glove box is open. Now the body ECU is accessible. Again a little bit in fast forward, pull off all the connectors. Now it's time to remove one screw in the bottom and one bolt in the top of the body ECU. The connectors on this side of the ECU are secured with levers. However, you can only remove one at a time, because there's also the yellow slider which you have to move. And here we have the cause for the problems: corroded connectors. The wiring harness cannot be swapped that easily, so we have to clean the connectors as good as possible. A very good product for this is the Oxid D5. After letting it soak for a while, we will also use a fiberglass pen to clean the connectors as good as possible. Symbolic recording, I did this properly off camera. To protect the connectors for the future, we will use the Oxid F5 fader loop. It's a contact spray that also contains a little bit of lubrication for smooth running faders. But it also works well to protect against corrosion. Reassembling was the same process, just in the opposite direction. However, some recordings didn't work well. But I think if you made it so far, you can also reassemble it. Just a quick test if the OBD is running properly again, and if I made some mistakes on my way. But so far, everything looks good. And also the central locking again does what it's intended to. If the battery was disconnected for such a long time, we have to retrain the power windows. If you don't do this, you will lose the functionalities automatic up and down and the comfort opening via the remote control. To train the power window, we have to push the window open button for that long that the window opens completely, plus about 1 second. And same procedure with pulling the button upwards to close the window until it's fully closed, plus about 1 second. Repeat this procedure on all 4 doors. That was it for this video. I hope you learned something, it helped, and see you next time, very likely again with something about retro computing.